welcome to the conclusion of Fat Chicks Only, and we're getting ready to put our dress plate for the coop entrance for the chickens together, and we're going to be creating a metal backup support which will help dissipate and suck some of the heat, control some of the puddling of our heliarc. We're gonna heliarc weld this, and you always kind of wonder, hey, how does plasma edge on aluminum fare in the welding process of heliarc? Now I'm going to try not to dress this edge up any more than just filing a rough burr edge off of it, and we're going to kind of show you how easy it is to blend it and have a pretty good looking weld without too much work. I'm not saying that it's the best thing, but I'm going to show you what's allowable on something. It's something that's quick, dirty, or down and dirty, you should say. You know, this is just a project we're slamming together, and anyhow, you'll get a first bird's eye view of actually the quality of welding that I'll be able to do on this. Now we're going to go ahead and we cut some angles already, and of course we're going to flip this over. This is the front side here, and the only difference is the way that the cut is in here, and I will be flipping this over. Alright, and this will be where we're going to clamp these up. And we're going to go ahead and use this opening to really hold these nice and square. This lip is made to set inside the 11 by 11, and of course when we're going through the step there, this is the actual pattern that I made for the one that's out there that I mounted up. This is actually a secondary one because I had a viewer on my Facebook said, hey, I would like to see how that was made. So I kind of after the fact decided to go ahead and create this video, and that's why we're doing it. But I said I need to add a few more things in there. So in all, we're going to actually have an extra entrance. And at the end here, somebody want to give me a bid on it? You know, I wouldn't mind boxing it up and shipping it out to somebody that can use it and offer me a fair price for it. All right, we're going to be adding these in here. Now I wanted to point out, and you probably, if you were really paying attention to the video there and me laying it out and drawing it out, you would realize that the one I cut on the table was not leaving enough room down here for the attachments for the ramp we're going to add in here. So this is an actual mistake, and I do have to say it's easier to do mistakes when you're running with CNC equipment. You can overlook something so simple, and you know, you can perfectly cut out something wrong. You chalk it up for experience, okay? I could probably do one of these and do another cutout on here when I got a piece of scrap that's big enough or whatever, and then I can go ahead and put it on the wall, and it's going to be another reminder. Most of my things on the wall are a reminder of my mistakes, and you know, of course the customer doesn't. I'm the customer this time here, so the one out there on the coop is great, but. So anyway, let's get to it. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the angles together, and I'm actually going to clamp them down to this opening here, and then we're going to bring the MIG gun over, and I'm just going to go bam 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 with a few tacks, good tacks, to where we know that this isn't going to move around, and then we'll flip it over and we're going to clamp the aluminum strips that create the lip that sits into the opening, and we'll go ahead and weld those on. The purpose of this is to minimize, you're not going to totally get rid of it, but minimize the warpage that we're going to get out of this welding. Alright, I got my Millermatic 250 fired up, and I just got a text. Alright, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put some spot welds on here, and we went ahead and turned that on. We've already bled out some wire. We got gas. We went ahead and checked our dimensions so that we got 11 by 11. This is actually going to be a jig that's going to hold and not let you get any bigger than 11 by 11, and that is the McMurray's hatch requirements for their automatic door. So we actually designed and built this to fit the situation. So this, anybody that's running a McMurray hatchery automatic door, this right here is the pattern for that opening. One thing that I want to point out, just general purpose. I was a machinist before I was a welder, even though I was gas welding at the age of 10, but I meant as far as arc welding, stick welding, MIG welding, TIG welding, all of those. Being a machinist, I always got nice rules, scales, pocket scales, combination square sets. These are all favorite tools. You'll learn the hard way, and I'm just telling you that if you leave these laying around in the vicinity of welding, when you're creating an arc, especially with this dude, you're gonna end up having splatter on them, and you get splatter on a scale, and you go into a bummer state. And anyhow, you just don't want it to happen. You get a BB sticking to a scale, and you got to work at it. Plus, it puts a permanent scar on your tool. And so, all right, I'm going to come in here, and we're just tightening these down a little bit because we checked our dimensions, but we just want to make sure that nothing moves and everything is held nice and square. And that gap looks really uniform there all the way around. All right, now we're going to go ahead, put a little zap on them. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm hitting just like that on the inside of the angles, the 4 points right here, and that will suck those together without giving too much side to side shift. And it's not going to take too much because all we're supporting is aluminum until it's ready to go, and a little bit of MIG welding goes a long ways. Now you can see just a couple little BB splatters on here. This is why I flipped this over. So, I mean, we're going to be able to scrape them off, but the MIG does throw them out. You can have them minimized by adjusting your current, but you're still going to end up having some. Alright, now we can unclamp that. We can lay it on the bench, and I'll probably just give it a little zap, just a little bit stronger down there in the root of that corner. And that's about it. Alright, so we're going to pop off our clamps here, and we'll drop down the setup here. We'll scrape off our PBs there, and we'll get this finished welding, and we'll come back to setting up our aluminum parts for Healy up. Alright, so we're done with our wire feeder for now, so we roll it back in our little cubby hole here, and so we've got clear walk space to our bottles back here. We're all set with our jig. Alright, we just got to get down on it. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and dress this plate. I've already knocked a couple little BBs that were just barely stuck to it. Another thing that splatter from welding loves to stick to, and that is your files. I don't know why, it just seems like it's a magnet to them. Alright, now like I said, we're not really going to go ahead and we're not going to dress this whole thing. This is the back side. I'm just going to break that edge so that it doesn't have that real sharp edge there. this is clean. Of course, if it was a real important job, I'd be wiping it down with cleaners like acetone and such. But for right now, we're just going to leave it like this. This front side actually looks pretty good. Just a quickie. Alright. And there's a regular plasma cut edge. See if I can zoom this in just so you can see that. Maybe you can't. Okay. Anyhow, it is just a plasma cut edge. And the same thing with our strips here. We got 4 strips. And we really haven't even seen if they all fit into this. We'll take a look at it. Right? So this jig is going to sit up on here, and then we're going to clamp these in. And these do fit in there. Alright, now we're going to go ahead, we're going to do the same thing. We're just knocking that little raised area. Not too much dross, but some of that we're knocking off as well. But that rough edge on the side there, we're going to leave that rough plasma edge there, because that's what this is all about. Show you how absorbing that is on the Heliarc. Now, you couldn't do it if these things were dirty. They are fresh cut. You can see the stuff flying off of there. I'm just knocking that loose stuff so that I can clamp these things flat. Ready. Alright, a little wipe off here. Nothing fancy, no chemicals, no nothing. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to center this back up the way it was when we tack welded it. And we're just kind of giving it a good straight eyeball, even spaces all the way around. What this is doing is it's actually splitting the difference of thickness of the material here. Alright, now I'm going to pull these gloves off. Things are still a little bit warm. I believe I will be able to clamp these in position here. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and we can slip that in. Yep, we can slip that in. Okay, we're just going to go 4 places here for right now. And we might have to grind some off the end of these. I plan them to be shorter. Okay, looks like we're going to need to cut about 1/8 of an inch off of them. I allowed for 1/8, and you got to allow for double the thickness, which is 1/4 inch, because I want them to butt just like that. All right. So we will cut all these in a bandsaw. All right, let's get ready to do a little welding here, and I want to point out just a few things. I don't get into safety gear a lot with you guys. In fact, you look at a lot of my videos, and sometimes it looks like I might be ignoring safety. I have healthy fear of a lot of things, and right now we're going to do not too much aluminum welding, but we're going to be doing a little bit more than I think that my bare arms are going to handle, so I will put on this jacket. I was sent this, and this Lincoln welding jacket. I normally was running the green ones there, same kind of material, a little darker. I like these a little bit better than the leathers, just they're lighter, cooler. The black one, I didn't notice any different between the color and the heat or protection. Either way, I appreciate it. And the product, advertising Lincoln. Lincoln is a good quality product. I have almost every one of my welding machines is a Miller. All old, when I say old, 20 years old or so, even my Syncrowave 250 that I'm getting ready to use right now. And I was asked to go ahead and try out a pair of these welding gloves, and these are very nice welding gloves, and I do think that they are probably a notch above what you see me use before. They are very comfortable. In fact, these are like Cadillacs. So my thought on them, I like them. All right. One other thing, and everybody knew that this helmet here, and when I first got this, everybody is asking me, do I like the helmet? And would you recommend the helmet? I like how it ratchets down, and because of my glasses and everything else, I'm able to get it down there so that I got progressives here, and the level of viewing and the large screen, and being able to ratchet it down without my nose being pressed against it. And this is probably the least amount of fogging I've ever had with a helmet. Of course, there are those days that I don't care what you do. You are like a bull in a box, and you're going to be snorting all kinds of hot air all around, and you're upside down, and you're sweating, and water puddles are cradling in your glasses. And I mean, this is just not ideal for welding. You're going to have those days, but for the most part, very comfortable. How much did I like this helmet? I like this helmet so much that I went down the duck boats to work one day, and I forgot my helmet. So I went right in the store, went right over to the wall, grabbed another helmet, and now I have two of them. And I keep this one here is for my field work, and or if somebody comes over and I want them to have a view. I mean, I have a couple other welding helmets up here, but nothing compares to these right here in my mind. So that kind of answers your question without really trying to answer it. It's I do like it. All right. All right. I was doing some light stainless work the other day, and so we're gonna change some things around here. First off, AC we're gonna run in high freak continuous. And we're just going to bring this on up. We're on 1/8 inch. I mean, sometimes I weld with the pedal, so sometimes I'm going to give it what it's got and get it initiated and everything else, and from the pedal I can feather it down. So I mean, I really don't need a whole bunch there, especially because I do mix helium with my argon, and I have a Y and a bottle connection. It's back there, and it's kind of dark back there. It's useless to actually get the camera back there and really show you anything. But I just basically have a Y connection coming down, and I feathered in. Jody at weldingtipsandtricks.com has a video that explains it, and he's got the same valve on there. And some of my earlier videos, you actually see the Y hanging on the bottles when my welder was out here before the PlasmaCAM was in here. So anyhow, we're just going to go ahead, and it looks like we're all set, ready to go. And I'm going to go turn some gas on. Okay, now we're running 332 on the tungsten. I mean, I have this set down, almost down on the lower scale. A lot of you feel that the post-flow time is a little long, but I mean, that's what's set on my machine. I do tend to turn it down a little bit sometimes, maybe just turning it down below the dial. but for the most part, that's as simple as it gets for my welding. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start and I'm going to give it, I'm going to tack up the corners here. And I'm just basically trying to join the three pieces together. And then I'm going to hit a couple mid-tacks in here. And we'll see if we'll go from there. But I want to fully get it tacked around. I'm only going to loosen some of the clamps as I go, probably the ones that are overhanging the welded area, because I want that 1/4 inch angle. The thickness is 1/4 inch on that angle. It's 1.5 inch angle, but it's 1/4 inch the wall thickness or web on the angle, and that's to give the strong back or the strength so that the aluminum will heat up for the weld, and then it'll cool down and it'll stress relieve in the same shape, and then hopefully we can keep this thing as flat as possible. The other one that's out there on the coop is I did it freehand, and I didn't do this process right here, so I'm actually comparing one to the other, and if this jig works out fine, then I'll use this jig to do more in the future. Now, even though it's a plasma cut edge, I'm still able to get a nice, clean, uniform bead right there. Nothing wrong with that. Alright, now, just to get this comfortable, and I like to keep hanging this direction here, I'll just rotate this around. Alright, reattach our ground. No matter what, welding or plasma cutting, ground is everything, especially on the MIG. That's right, I said MIG. I wasn't talking, I know that this is TIG, but the MIG ground, in fact, actually you see Jody emphasize that quite a bit on his channel, and it's the truth. Yeah, and every once in a while you dip your tungsten in. And all you can say is, I hate when that happens. Now, most of the time, I will come over, this belt is used, worn, and everything else, but this Wilton also does a pretty fair job of cleaning up a tungsten. Now, even though this exploded and threw a ball up to the side, that ball is still kind of glossy. This thing would probably recoup. But I learned, you just don't bother. Get it back down to a blunt tip. Kind of. These zirconia belts hold up pretty good to a tungsten. This kind of welding, I kind of prefer a ball end myself. Alright, good to go. If that's the only time I dip in there, I'll be pretty happy today. Alright. Now we're going to go ahead and go for some mid-tacks here. And I think I'm just going to try to put 2 in on each of the sides here. now I'm going to go ahead and move these clamps that are actually blocking the weld area. Okay, now I'm just going to make a nice single pass all the way around. Sometimes it's nice to have something to prop against. And you can see that that's a nice gloss weld bead right there, and it is pretty clean for welding right on plasma cut edge. Alright, and you can see the plasma cut right there that I'm actually welding over. And the bead's pretty decent. I mean, I don't know if I'd write home about it, but I'm not sitting down 100% comfortable. And this is going on my chicken coop. And I don't think the chickens are going to complain. Alright, I'm going to finish welding this box out here. And then we'll come back when I get ready to do the inside corners there. Okay, we're just coming down the stretch there. We brought it down off the blocks lengthwise there. There was no place for the blocks to sit, so we found that just spinning it around right on the bench works great. Okay, now we just got the four corners, and we'll go ahead and we'll clear our clamps out so we can put it four different ways there and get a nice fill up right in the corner there. Alright, a little vise here on the table really helps a lot, just to hold and balance it a little bit. Also too, you have a clamp there, then you can also bring a clamp, come right up, and clamp right onto the vise. Now you got a good strong bond of ground right there without arcing through anywhere. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit this area right in the corners here. Get my pedal in the right direction. Okay, now we can just loosen the vise right there, turn this upside down, do the same thing. Alright, we're We're going to let this cool down completely, and then we'll unclamp it from the frame itself, and we'll continue on with the project. We'll go ahead and just undo our ground clamp here, and then we're going to take the C-clamps off now, and we're going to see how well this angle pops off the back side. This is all cold now, you know. Well, it's not going to just pop off there real easy, so we're going to go ahead and put our clamps back away here right now so we can clear off our table. And we'll go ahead and we'll get our two boards out. And we'll probably have to use our heel bar. Not that I think it's on there real tight, but actually need a little screwdriver. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Usually, when things cool down, after you weld it like that, it really has stress relieved it, and it's not real warped. I mean, it has a little tiny bit, or whatever, but it's pretty flat. And it's so thin material that when you sandwich and you screw it, it will lay flat against the house there. All right. Now, actually, we're going to go ahead. I'm probably going to sand around this outside edge here, just because we don't want that rough edge right there. Alright, we got everything kind of cleared off our roller. We went on the other side. I think our last thing we did was like a 15-inch circle there. I just did the other day. I had to roll this 16-gauge stainless steel band in a ring there for a glass mold for one of the glass guys here on the Cape. So I think I already set, I already set this for the thickness of the plate, and I lowered this roller down. I think we'll start. And we're just going to go ahead and we're going to get this curved out so that it matches the midsection of this. Oh, I think I spelled that right. No, wrong. P-H-A-T? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to get this to curve around to match this piece here. So we're just laying here on top of our patterns that we made for a auto car hood, which that video will be coming up soon. Alright, so let's go ahead and we're going to roll this so we get a good curve on there. And we're just going to be putting this through as straight as we can. It isn't any high tech, it just kind of gives a good curve to it. And we bring up our screws here evenly. Give them a couple rotations. Turn this around. When you're running, what I found running rollers anyway, is to go ahead and as soon as you run it through one way, run it through the other way, and then the way it comes off the end here and here being flat or following that curve kind of blends them in, makes them more uniform. This is only going to take a couple adjustments here anyway, because we're getting close. All right, another 2 turns here. All right, this should be pretty darn close. If not, having to probably spring it back maybe. I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty good. The beauty of aluminum. A little bit more right here. All right. So we got pretty good blend there. We'll be able to make that work. Alright, we set the awning face and the band that we just rolled over to the side for right now. We're going to go ahead, we're going to start playing with our other accessories there to mount the ramp that comes up for the door. Now, I'm going to go ahead, and this just happened to be a 10-inch piece, maybe just a couple thousandths over that, and we're going to take this in. I thought maybe I'd be using the closing, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the south bend, and I think I can slide this in the south bend there, and we're just going to be dressing off and chamfering the ends. It's pretty well the right length. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start tacking the cradle to the base plate and the ears to the plate that will actually bolt the crossbar that locates into the cradles together right now. The cut is tight. The very top, when you're cutting at high speed, sometimes you start getting a lot of flaring, and you can slow it down and you can get more definite, and you can clean a little bit more dross off and things like that. But for right now, it's almost ready to go in there. I can put it in the press and press that together, maybe put a little scoring on the side of there, but I choose to just go ahead and take a rotary burr. I like the ball because sometimes you go reach on the other side and you almost like roll over or flare out on the other side, and the same thing on this side here, and with a little bit of work you actually get it to slide through with a pretty good feel. And I didn't totally clean all of that out of there. All I did was take out the tight side, which was on the bottom side of it. It wants to start in there, but it doesn't go all the way through, so you know, I'm just barely just cleaning up the extra, that's all. Same thing on that one. Okay, so now basically this is what we got. We got a T here, and these will get welded to the plate here. And then these two here, we're going to clamp them to these blocks, and we're going to tack those to here. All right, I'm going to bring you in close so that you're not straining to get in for a view here. And basically it's just going to be short. I'm not giving you too many arc shots and things like that. Jody at weldingtipsandtricks.com gives you good in the puddle viewing, and there's no, you know, you just got it covered. All right, we want to put these 2 feet. We're going to basically about a 1/4 inch up from the edge, just so that we're not right down on the edge. We want to center these on a we were guesstimating about 8-inch. So 18, 9 is half of that. 4, that's 5. 4 would be 13. So about 13 in there. Just to double check, visual, 8-inch. All right. These are just blocks that I've had forever. There's a match set. I know where 3 of them are. I do have 4, but I only know where 3 of them are at. And we're going to use our little machinist clamps, and I think I already got these set here, so that we're holding them tight, they can stand up, and then we can just line these up. We can take a little square, and we'll be able to pivot them, and we're going to take our scale, and we're just going to set the bottom here so that it's a 1/4 inch off the bottom, and it's kind of lined up on that line. Not really rocket scientists. Move here, we're just kind of throwing them in place by eye, and that they're uniform. Okay, there we go. Alright, now as far as squareness, I got a square here somewhere. Alright, we'll just throw a quick square on these, and that was good. Actually, there we go. Okay. Now, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to tack them on this end here, and then reach over on the back side and we're going to tack them there. And we have this clamp to this angle iron here to give that strong back on there, so that when we weld these, here, leaving the strong back together, and this clamp is going to be holding the center here. And we might have a little bit of a pull, but there's not going to be enough to be affecting the whole thing, and then we'll let it cool down with that angle on there, and it'll maintain the flatness as well as it has on the center lip here that we welded in on the face of this. Okay, now let's go ahead and grab our helmet. And we squared these two up already. And I'm just going to go ahead and put a little tack here and here. We hit the foot pedal once just to make sure we got a fresh squirting going on. Okay, we pull off our little clamps. Alright, and this will be able to come in here and clamp here, and this will be set so that the travel won't be able to go past either way here on our width. Alright, now we're just gonna put a little 3/4 inch bead, top, bottom, both sides, and that's all we're going to have. We're not going to over weld this. It's going to be far more than it'll ever need to hold chickens up on the ladder run here. We're just staggering them around right now just so we transfer the heat around different areas. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and let those cool down right there before we undo the clamps, and that should hold it pretty well flat and level. Alright, now we're going to start working on the piece that screws to the bottom of the ramp, and it goes into the cradle like this and then slides side to side with freedom there, but it won't come out and fall out unless it's lifted out of there, okay? So we need to mount that to that, but before we do that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go over to the south end, and we're going to just dress up these two ends here, which is just going to be a pass by and a chamfer there. Looks like a little bit of a 1/4 inch or so we're going to take off of that side there, but besides that, it's just going to be a dress chamfer type of cut. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and just take the aluminum tube. It fits down in there about that far there before it becomes restricted by the bore and the spindle. And see what speed we're at right now. Alright, nice comfortable speed. Now this is the end here that has a little bit of a wheel cut out here for some reason from whatever I machined on the end of here before. So we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to face that back till we get to there, and then we're just going to give it a chamfer inside and outside. And this is, this is a tool bit that was in here. I have two of them that I normally have in this block here, so nothing fancy. And I'm not doing a lot of turning, otherwise I'd probably switch it over to, a high-speed steel tool bit. Alright, now, and we'll just change our angle here of approach here. Alright, we're just going to kiss it a little bit on the outside, and we're lifting it up manually just so we're slightly above center, just to make sure that we're not going to drag the underside or the relief on the tool bit there. Alright, kick it back down. Alright, that's dressed enough. It's not sharp, won't cut anybody or any of the hens there if they happen to flutter into that part. Alright, same thing on this side. I could have just pulled my tool block off and it would have gave me an extra amount. Alright, just came in, gave it a little extra on the width there. You always have a couple different options, you know. You don't necessarily have to do the face and then the chamfer. You could actually come and do the chamfer. Raise it up just slightly again. Just kind of simple, nothing extreme here. Just want to make sure that that tube has no sharp edges on it. Alright. Now we could polish that, but I'm not into getting any more dust on my ways than I need to. Alright. Alright, so we come back. This is cooled down now. We can touch, and this is, room temperature now. It's been a while. And we'll go ahead and set our items off to the side here. And now we can pull our clamps off. Alright, what we got here, we went ahead and we just took our vise and put an angle in here so we could put our ground strap at the other end of it. And we're going to go ahead and clamp everything to this so we don't have to worry about our ground and our setup to actually weld these up. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to use our blocks again. And here's our two ears. In fact, we're going to go ahead and we're going to run the rod through these ears. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and put our clamps on here. There we go. There's our other one. Now we're going to slide these out. We just want a 1/4 inch in from the edge here so we have enough for a weld bead on there. And we're going to go ahead and take our scale right here, and basically this is a 1/2 inch in from each side, pretty well centers it. That looks good. Good. Nothing real critical. Alright, that looks good. Now, just double check here. That looks good. Same thing there. Okay, now we can go ahead and we're just going to put a quick tack on both outside edges there. After we do that, we're going to center the rod. We'll be able to put a tack there, and we're just going to put a couple short tacks on this. about 2,200. Looks like it's pretty equal there. Now we should be able to pull our clamps and blocks out of the way here. Alright, now here again we're just going to go ahead and put a couple 3/4 inch tacks here and there, and another one on the outside over here, and it should be good to go. Alright, that's all set. We'll let that cool down, and then we're just going to go ahead and we're going to put a couple holes in it on both the upper and lower side there, so that it can be mounted to the boards. And yes, those could have been drilled in before we welded the plate on, but we got plenty of capabilities of doing that. Alright, now we're ready to go ahead, and we want to tack these two parts together. Alright, and this is what it's going to look like from this side. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to lay this on its back here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to set this down here. We're going to go ahead and run our ground clamp right on there. Now we need something with weight, and so that this doesn't fall. And let's go get a piece of angle right now. Alright, and we're going to run this piece of angle right here. Now we can put the clamp there and it's not going to rock. Now I'm just kind of eyeballing this equal as far as the rotation and the distance down here on the ends, and the curve looks pretty good. We're kind of happy with that. I think we're gonna leave it just like that. Alright, we're going to put a tack at each of the corners down here, and then we're just going to put little 3/4 inch beads all the way around this outside. So I'm going to hit this first, and then we'll flip it around and we'll do that.
around. Try not to scoot it so we don't scratch it any more than we have already. And we can just put that there. We're going to go right at the top here first and get it, and then we'll split it until we go them around. Alright, and put that in the middle right here. Little 3/4 inch beads, all we need. Alright, split it halfway there. And I'll go ahead and come around here to this side right here. Alright, now with that just being lightly tagged with 3/4 inch spots, you can barely see the spots that they are, so we're not going to really see any problem with that. Alright, before we weld this the same way to the back plate, we're just going to be stagger welding that. We want to go ahead and we want to put our holes in this plate here. And we'll go and we'll put our holes also in that piece there. Now I'm just going ahead and measuring in here, and I'm just kind of giving about a 1/2 inch all the way around here, and so that we have room to have a weld bead there and a nice trimmed out piece. Now we're making sure that we're equal here, so the thing just basically really looks like it's centered on the top here. Now I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to just draw a line right here so that I know how far down in there to put my my screws. So now we'll go ahead and we'll set this off to the side, which is still pretty warm. And that's still a little warm there. Alright, but basically we're going to go ahead we know that one thing that's nice about this, you got acetone or other cleaners there that will remove the Sharpie with no problem. And we're going to put one there, and we know that we're going to put a series going across there. Just basically gives us a guideline. We're not, it's not super critical. Just an even pattern. We want to make sure that you're able to screw this to the side of the building without having any problems here. And we are just going about 5, so we're gonna, there. We want one to be centered in here. And we'll just go ahead another 5 up here. And a width of a 1/2 inch there. That should be kosher enough right there. All right. Now we got, this was planned out to be bolted to 2 1x4s. So we want to have, basically we're just going to have 1/2 inch in, just like the other ones, the other set there. Create a line there, and that's 6 inches right there. So we're gonna We're going to split those there and there, and there, and there. Alright, let's go drill some holes. Alright, we got to come in here close to this edge, and sometimes you'll get parts that are like this, okay, and that's the reason why I went ahead and fabricated this all the way. You might have something that's already finished and you need to put a hole pattern to mount it in for the way the customer wants it to be mounted, alright. So this chuck is a little fat to get in next to that web, so I'm going to change this chuck out to a smaller chuck. And I mean, it's one of the ways. You can get longer drills and you can get a couple other things there, but today I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put that chuck away, and I'm just going to get a smaller chuck in here. And this should let us get the drill down in there where we want it. Alright, now we're drilling these out basically 200 thousandths. Let's the average deck screw go in, or any number 10 screw. And I like going ahead, and I have a block of aluminum I put in here once in a while just to do this type of work. And I come over here and I'm going to grab a hole that I've already got, and I'm just kind of eyeballing it to that hole so that I know that I can pass through here. We can get up here on speeds for aluminum. Alright, now we're just coming in here. Alright, we're nice and clear there. We know we'll be going through. Just this gives a foot support, so I can hold this up here without having any problem. Now I can just come down. I didn't center punch these things. They're not that critical. I'm just going to kind of eyeball them. Now the other side. Everyone keep a brush handy. You might need to flip a chip out of the hole there once in a while. Some things you can get away with holding freehand, and some things you can't. You got to learn that, or you will break bits. You will wrap your hand up. There, I was just a little bit close, but I was still able to get that hole right there. Alright, now we're going to go ahead. We're just going to not pull our chips off of this drill bit here real quick. We're going to go ahead and switch over to our big plate real quick, and we're going to move this stuff out of the way. And that way we can work this all the way around like this and slide in here, because sometimes you have a problem where your throat is not going to clear. But sometimes having a little raised block here will let you get all the way around your parts, okay? Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to just start down here. And here again, we'll just eyeball into our crisscross. We can do this with a pistol drill as well. It is a little easier to do it this way and more comfortable. And what this do more than anything else will be giving us a vertical location with our indicator here for the countersinks is basically what it's going to do. See there? Pay attention what you're doing. I almost died. That's right on. That's where the aluminum's going to go. And one in the center. find the last one right here in the corner. I can feel a little rocking there. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and set up our countersink. Alright, this little countersink, actually this one here is the right size to where when you countersink it to where it's the max there, gives a pretty good countersink for the average deck screw. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to set it up here. And we're just going to lightly come down here. Come down to there. That's right there is where we feel that they should go. Of course, we're setting our 0 at this time right here just because we're holding it there. So we can double check. We can look right at the dial and know right exactly when we're there and stop. Just kind of a little handy to have it that way. Okay, and to the right hole here. Good thing that one's going to go underneath our awning there. I could actually put a little weld bead in that one if I wanted to. The beauty of aluminum is you can fill it, weld it, patch it. Alright, little oil at least shows you I'm oiling my steamer. Alright, we got that one. Now we're going to go ahead and this plate is the same thickness, so our measurements should all be exactly the same. Alright, now this may be a little bit closer in here. We may have to cock it just a little bit, but it's going to work fine. That one we're going to eyeball. We're kind of holding it out. We got it in there successfully. This is the tight one here. Alright, now we'll go back to the straight forward one. Alright, there we go. Alright, we're going ahead and we're just taking some cleaner here and just removing our die. Not really trying to clean the parts, they're just trying to get all the bluing off. Sometimes when you heat the blue areas with the blue Sharpie right next to it, especially on anodized parts, the blue Sharpie actually stays right impregnated in the aluminum. Anyhow, alright, this part is completely done, so we don't even need to bother with that. This one here, we're going to go ahead and weld the top on. Alright, now let's just see if we got any. And the only reason why we are taking this off is just any blue line. We have a blue line on the inside here. Alright. Alright, we move our cleaners completely out of the welding area. That is a chlorinated cleaner and it is supposed to be non-flammable, but I'm not going to be the one to test that theory. Alright? I don't chance that. Do not chance it with acetone. There's a lot of things that I favor that I like to clean aluminum with, but I just don't go there. It's best not to go there. My recommendation anyway. Alright. You're right, I can think of a lot of other dangerous things to do. Alright, so we're kind of doing that. We're actually putting that edge so that it's right over that partial drill hole that we have there. Kind of covers it up. No big deal. It's hidden. Alright, we like it. We like that right there. We got the feel that's kind of equal. We're not measuring 100% to make sure that this is 100% there, because when you look at this, you are not thinking if it's square or not. Alright, the chickens are not going to know the difference either. Alright, let's get dressed up and let's put some weld on there. Alright, here we go. We're going to go ahead and start putting this together here. Alright, a little left-handed on this side. There we go. Alright, I did the video just because it was a request from one of my fellows on Facebook there, and said it'd be real interesting seeing how I actually made it. So I kind of put this together, and I had some footage, but it wasn't 100% to make a video out of it, so I created this just to make the video. Of course, this has got a little corrections in it. The apostrophe is not one space down, it's actually sitting in the right spot. Everything on here, I mean, the thing is lays flatter than the one that I got on my own house out there, and it's ready to go. Screw it to your ramp, screw it to the house. This fits the 11 by 11 McMurray hatcheries automatic coop control, their door. It could also fit any door that you possibly come up with yourself. If you're interested, give me a bid in the contacts, all right? Let's see if make this worthwhile putting it in and shipping it out to somebody. You know, I might do more of this down the road. It is ready to go, and might have the same sense of humor as I do. All right, get her done. Give me a bid. Alright, there we go. One thing that's beautiful about the 1/8 aluminum there, it flexes a lot. I mean, now this here I had a little bit of warpage around the original one that this one here that I built for this, and but we've overcome that with a little bit of steel angles in behind it. Alright, we finished attaching this to our plank that we made, and that's going to set right in there like that. And that comes out, that's nice. I wanted a nice rounded wood piece here so that their last step is almost the same transition right there at the opening. Well, I just wanted to share a little project involving the shop and a little home project. I know you guys all got them out there, and every once in a while I come up with one, and I think this pretty much is a get her done. Well, we didn't intentionally discriminate against skinny chicks, and if you feel that you've been offended by not being included in the video, you can send in a photo of yourself and your eggs, and if you look like you might be pleasantly plump, we might let you in.